She could find a million imperfections within just 1 inch of her body. That mask of makeup she wears is to shield the eyes from her freckled face. She's a pretty girl, but she won't ever believe it. The things she sees on TV tell her that she's not good enough. She needs to be thin, tall, white, successful, have a small appetite, thick. She's a pretty girl, but she won't ever believe it. Those crossed arms over her stomach are to hide that extra piece of cake from last night that she thinks makes her fat. Yet, she wishes she wasn't so skinny. She's a pretty girl, but she won't ever believe it. When she wakes up in the morning with a zit on her face, she tells her mom she can't go to school because she's sick. She cries herself to sleep because when she looks in the mirror, she can't stand herself. She's a pretty girl, but she will never believe it. She stays away from boys because they couldn't possibly love someone that looks like her. She was told she had to look a certain way to attract men. Attract men. Like it's her job to attract men. She was told this certain way was not how she looked. She's a pretty girl, but she won't ever believe it. How can she believe it when society tells her every part of the way she looks is wrong? Put on some weight. Are you even healthy? You look manly. Guys don't like skinny girls. You should go on a diet. People like you shouldn't wear bikinis. You are ugly. She's a pretty girl, but she won't ever believe it. The body expectations that are thrusted upon young women eat them alive until they are nothing more than names. She wishes she loved herself, but wherever she looks, there will always be someone more beautiful. She's a pretty girl, but she won't ever believe it. Young girls are taught to be obedient, be pretty, sit quiet, be perfect. When will we stop tearing each other and ourselves apart over what the media tells us we must look like? Accepting ourselves is hard, but I hope one day we will find the courage to let our true beauty shine through. She's a pretty girl, and she knows it.
Yeah.
I am Zainab Yahyaoui. I am a Muslim American student. I am a Senate Middle School scholar. I want you to listen to these 2 words and try to find the difference between them. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar. The difference between these 2 words is that the first one comes from the mouth of a non-Muslim student who says this racial slur to every single Muslim they see because it symbolizes the blowing up of something. The second one comes from the mouth of a Muslim man or woman who says it when they want to pray to God, when they want to get closer to God. It sends the reassurance that God is the greatest and brings us to calm and peace. Allahu Akbar. I feel bad for the Muslim boys and girls, but mostly the girls, they wear a hijab on their head that makes it more noticeable. They get scared to go anywhere because of the fear of being called a terrorist. Allahu Akbar. Imagine walking down the hall one day when suddenly somebody yells it, Allahu Akbar! You try to push it at the far end of your mind because you don't want to be the party pooper. You don't want to be the unfunny one or the uncool one that nobody likes. Allahu Akbar. It's not funny, it's not cool, it's not epic, it's not funny and never was funny. And I'm here to speak out on behalf of all of the Muslim community. Not only is this joke offensive, but it's also scary. Scary as in you're afraid to go anywhere because everyone has their eyes on you thinking that you're about to blow the place up. Allahu Akbar. I have to prepare myself for endless questions and comments every 5 seconds like, what's that on your head? Why can't you eat pork? Do your parents force you to wear that? What would you do if I just snatched that off your head? The worst thing I've been told was to warn someone the day before I was going to bomb up the school. I take comfort in knowing that I am a fun person to be around, that everybody wants to be around me because I can make them laugh, that I am a fun person, that I am one of the cool kids. Everyone throws these racial slurs at me left and right because they know that I am someone who apparently does not care. Allahu Akbar. My religion is not your joke. My religion is not your insult. I am not
Golisano. It's on the board. It's kind of large. And today, I'm here to speak with you about an all too real and current problem, which is autism awareness and respect. Autism spectrum disorder is a complex developmental disability that affects 1 in 59 births. Being autistic, I have been singled out for most of my life for being different. Not because of my skin, or my religion, or my appearance, but because of my neurology. You have no idea how many times I've been called stupid or retarded. But I am neither of those things. I am simply autistic. And I just want to be understood. And I bet that anybody else with autism probably has the same wish. I remember the first time I was ever discriminated against because I was autistic. And at this age, this was before I even knew it. I didn't even know it. I was confused. I was 6 years old. I was in kindergarten. I was a kindergartner. I was like, yay, hi. I told my teacher that I needed more time on a project. She called me lazy and kept me in for recess. She wouldn't let me leave my seat until I was done. 6-year-old me was dumbfounded. I was respectful. I had tried my hardest. What had I done wrong? Nothing was wrong. I was punished for the way I was born. If that had been a physical difference, it would have been unacceptable. But it's not. So society turned a blind eye. That needs to change. We need to work on making a space where people can not only be physically different, but mentally different. We need to teach about autism so people understand it and will become less alien. This has proven effective with issues such as race and gender identity. So going home today, I need you, all of you, to learn about the autism spectrum. Tell your friends, your family, and convince people that autism is not as strange or different as it seems to be. I wish for a day when anybody on the autism spectrum can say, I am autistic, without fear of ridicule or misunderstanding. Until that day, my rallying cry is, understand autism.
I am transgender. I've been out to my parents for around 3 years, and I'm lucky that I have such loving and accepting parents and a roof over my head, because some people don't. I am one of the lucky ones. Just last week, I listened to a guest speaker who lives here in Madison, who shared his story of coming out. He came out around 40 years ago in the 1970s when he was 18 years old. He had fallen in love with a boy, and that boy had come out to his parents as gay, and they accepted him. So he thought it would be okay if he came out to his parents too. He got home one day and he said, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. He left the house with 2 broken ribs and 2 black eyes after being held at gunpoint by his father. His dad said, I'd rather have a dead son than a gay son. Dino was an artist, so his mother ran around the house destroying all the paintings he had made for his family. Dino became homeless at the age of 18 years old. He then later lived with the boy he had fallen in love with. That boy was his first love and the first person he knew who had died from the AIDS epidemic. The most important part of this story, though, is that he still has a relationship with his father to this day, and a healthy one. Surprising, right? How could this gay man still have a relationship with someone who held a gun to him and said he'd rather have a dead son than a gay son? Dino didn't talk to his father for years after coming out, and his mother died before they had the chance to make up. Dino's father had years to think about everything that had happened, and they could begin to have a relationship as father and son again. His father had changed and had accepted him. Hate can change. A couple years ago, I did a panel with another transgender man to educate middle schoolers on what it means to be trans. He told his story of when he came out maybe only about 6 years ago. He was also disowned and kicked out of his home. He still has a long way to go with repairing relationships with his family. Both of these people were kicked out and disowned, yet they came out 40 years apart. The same thing still happened 40 years later. According to a 2012 study conducted by the Williams Institute and UCLA Law, approximately 1.6 million young people experience some sort of homelessness every year. 40% of them are queer. But queer youth only represent 7% of the youth population. That 7 to 40% ratio is heartbreakingly disproportionate. I am extremely lucky and thankful to have parents that love me and who are proud to call me their son. Some people say it's a choice. Some people, like Mike Pence, say that we can be changed with electric shock therapy to be normal. But why would I choose to be transgender when I know the possible price to pay for it? Why wouldn't I stand for those who have fallen victim to society and to those who have died at the hands of hate? Imagine the world right now if being gay were the norm. Imagine if you, a straight person, were being prosecuted for who you love. Would you be able to change who you love? Sometimes I wish I could change. Sometimes I wish that transgender people didn't even exist because it would be easier, and just because even though I have loving parents, it's still hard to simply exist as I am. Some days I see something on the news or someone's personal story of them being victims of violence because of who they are. And some days I am afraid to go outside. But I still go outside and I never back down from being myself because I am proud of who I am and I believe that people can change and one day learn how to love. And I don't want other people like me to have to live in fear. My point is that ignorance can be erased and hate can be changed, but we cannot change who we are or who we love. People just have to be shown that we are worthy of love and we are worthy of safety and we are worthy of living. Be kind to those who are different from you. Get to know their differences and know their stories, and maybe you'll understand more about what it means to be human. Thank you.
I never thought that I would hear a classmate trying to justify calling me a fag because if a gay person said it, it would be okay. And then go on to bombard me about what I am after completely invalidating my identity. And I never thought my stomach would drop at the idea of using the school bathroom because instantly when I walk through that door, I feel like I don't belong. And it's not just me. There are so many kids who feel so out of place in their homes, their school, and the world, being constantly bullied, misgendered, and harassed, forced into society's box of what they consider normal. Now let's just think for a minute. Kids who are in the LGBTQ+ community are twice as likely to be bullied and assaulted. And when kids are put into that unhealthy environment, it affects them in the worst ways. Their grades drop. The chance of developing clinical depression doubles. It affects their self-worth, stress, anxiety, isolation, and how long they're willing to stay alive. This is a serious issue. We're supposed to learn here. We practically live here for 13 years of our lives, and yet our identities are used as easy, on-hand insults to be thrown around casually without any repercussions. It's not just play. It's not okay to say that that's so gay, but we hear it every single day, and at this point, it's just ringing inside my head. Ignorance is the fuel of their insensitivity. This stuff isn't taught, so it's not understood. We need to change that. Advocating for GSA's all-gender bathrooms and inclusive sex education are great steps towards this goal. We need to do this. These kids are this world's future, and they deserve a safe place where they can be themselves. We need to listen to them, accept them, and support them. Thank you for listening.
I pledge allegiance to your flag of the United States of America, and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? Because it is not justice for all. It will be justice for all when people stop labeling all Muslims as terrorists. It will be justice for all when Black and Hispanic teens do not need to feel afraid of the police because of their skin color. It will be justice for all when all people feel accepted in their communities, regardless of their skin color or religion. Today I'm talking to you about racism. Although this issue has been going on for hundreds of years and has improved, it has not been completely fixed. In 2018, over 1,000 people were shot and killed by the police, 25% of which were Black people, despite Black people only being 13% of the population in America. 70% of those Black people were unarmed and nonviolent. When parents of minority children see these things in the media, they teach their children to be cautious. Society has made this a principle for people of color, that it is normal to be targeted and hated, that it is normal to live our lives looking over our shoulders in fear. Although law enforcement is one racist part of society, it is not the only problem. A Black person is far more likely to be turned away from a job than a white person with less credentials and a criminal record. This is unfair and affects many Black people with families that they need to support. There is no cure, no drug, no invention that we need in order to stop racism. We already have the answer. We need to accept each other. No one was born hating others for the color of their skin. People were taught to. Now people need to teach themselves not to. There are things that you can do. If you hear racist comments or derogatory terms, speak out. I need you to understand that the melanin in my skin does not define me. Together, we can make it justice for all. Thank you.
Mixed girl problem number 1. What are you? I'm a mixed female. I was raised in Georgia where I was reminded that I was other with every standardized test that I took. I'm a product of the 17% of mixed race marriages in the United States and 2.5% of mixed race people in the United States as of 2014. Mixed girl problem number 2. Really? You don't look mixed. This is when people start to assume that I'm just a light-skinned Black girl, that my beautiful white mother doesn't exist. If I don't look mixed, what does mixed look like? Mixed girl problem number 3. When they meet your mom, then they leave, or the mom leaves, and then they do the, your mom's white! Honestly, I didn't know that having a white mom could be such a shock to you. It's almost as if this couldn't even be a possibility in this person's mind. It's really disappointing. Wake up, it's 2019. Anybody can be a mom. Mixed girl problem number 4. You look more random ethnicity than my actual ethnicity. Because these people can pinpoint all of my races just like Ancestry.com. But in this grand old country of America, there are only 6 ethnic groups in our census. I'm one of those 6. Mixed. Why is it so hard for you to grasp that? I'm not going to lie about my race, so no need to tell me what I am and am not. Mixed girl problem number 5. Somehow we are all related. There isn't enough money in the world to say if I had $1 for every time that my mixed best friend was called my sister. Or if this mixed classmate is my brother. Or if this random mixed person I don't even know is my cousin. Somehow, my mixed classmates are my twins. Yes, we are all related. Mixed girl problem number 6. Mutt, mulatto, mestizo, and other derogatory terms. Mulatto is derogatory. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Mulatto is derogatory. Why is that? It stems from slavery times when masters would rape their slaves and then was used to describe the offspring of said slave in a malicious manner. There are also other terms that people use to describe people like me. This includes meticos, blended, biracial, interracial, multiracial, multi-ethnic, half-breed, mixed breed, crossbreed, suddenly we're dogs, mongrel, mixed blood, mixed race, and mixed heritage. We were never just Black. Being mixed is a huge part of my identity, but it isn't everything. There are many characteristics in my life that impact my identity. No, we're not related. Yes, that is my mom. Trust me, I didn't cut my hair. I'm not just Black. I'm mixed. So next time you come across a person you can't quite classify into your 6 ethnic groups, look past our races and actually learn about us as a fellow human being.
Rodney King, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown. But let's not forget, in my hometown of Madison, Wisconsin, Tony Robinson. You may ask, who are these people I just mentioned? These 6 black men were killed by the police. Did you know that on average, a police officer kills somebody every 7 hours in the United States? A black man is 3 times more likely to get killed than a white person. The reason why this is such a big problem is because a lot of people are getting mistreated and abused. But we have tools and access to work with this issue by talking about the main problem and coming to an agreement to end it. Let me tell you some alarming statistics. In 2014, the police killed 153 unarmed people. In 2017, the police killed 1,147 people. 25% of those people were black. In 2018, the police killed 1,166 people. This is not okay. These people are not a danger to our society, so why should we assume they are? I believe that there are many different ways we can end police brutality, but I'm only going to share 3 with you today. 1, building coalitions, which means building organizations and groups to talk about the main problem. 2, monitoring the police, making sure what they're doing is correct and they're serving our community how we want them to. 3, educating the public, making sure everybody knows what's going on in their life so they're aware for the future. So please, if you want to find more information on this topic and the importance on police brutality, discuss it with your parents, friends, and the people you love. Because at the end of our day, someone's life will be taken before them. Thank you.
I was strolling down the hall, getting ready for lunch. At the time, I was in 4th grade. As I opened my locker and reached for my lunch, a fellow classmate, Xavier, jumped behind me, shoved my face into my locker, and screamed, "Oompa Loompa." This wasn't the only time that Xavier bullied me. He bullied me about every day, and when he did, it really hurt me. So I told my family about the situation. They told me just to ignore his rude comments. But they didn't understand. I was only in 4th grade. I am one of the many people who get bullied. 49% of 4th through 12th graders report bullying, but there are still some students who do not report and are struggling on the inside. 4,400 suicides occur each year, and most of these suicides are occurring because of bullying. Here at Madison Schools, we do not do enough to educate students about bullying. 4% of teachers intervene in bullying, and most of the time, it just ends in a fake sorry, and the bullying continues. Teachers should educate students about what bullying is, what you should do if you witness bullying, and what you should do if you get bullied. 3.2 million people get bullied each year. 3.2 million. Here's how I solved my problem. As time went on and I started listening to my family's advice, I tried ignoring Xavier's rude comments. It was hard, but I tried it. And it worked. Xavier stopped picking on me. Together, let's fight against bullying and stop the struggle that people are going through. So the next time that you witness bullying, stand up for the victim. Or tell a teacher about what's going on. Try to see what's on the inside instead of judging about what's on the outside. Let's stop judging and start now.
Some people claim to know what it's like. What it's like to
or to feel depressed. Oh, you're depressed? Take a walk. Drink some water. It'll be okay. Take a nap. Watch a movie. It'll be okay. But don't you think if you're that easy, I wouldn't still be suffering? People tend to define others based on their mental state, causing to define said person by their depression. But people who are lucky enough to not even experience what depression feels like, even for a minute, already have zero chance of understanding. Not to say they can't understand, it's to say that they won't fully understand. To understand the crashing waves, the ongoing rage that swirls in our heads, the feeling of never being good enough, and eventually, silence. Now, I don't want to get the impression that people who don't deal with depression can't try to understand depression. It doesn't mean you can't make an attempt to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to put yourself in that moment, that point in time. But when I have someone putting themselves in my shoes, I don't want them to think that my depression defines me. This is not who I am, and this depression will not overcome me. But it's not so simple. Depression comes in many different shapes and forms. Depression is not all suicidal thoughts. Depression is not being lazy. Depression is having no motivation to do anything whatsoever. No matter how much you tell yourself you need to get up and do it. This goes for eating, sleeping, listening to music, going outside, taking your dog out for a walk. This isn't coming from a 16-year-old student who is too young to understand the world. I've been told countless of times that I don't understand anything because I'm too young. I have nothing to be sad about. My depression is a monster, nagging at me at the back of my head, no matter where I am or who I'm with, constantly telling me that I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I know it's wrong. That's why I must overcome this. It doesn't define me. I'm tired of people with no experience and people who aren't willing to understand depression telling me otherwise. So please, when you go home, look at your friends, look at your family. Just keep an open mind when they tell you they have depression, because you never know what they're going through. Thank you.